What's up, JT here, and I've kind of put myself in a little bit of a pickle here. So, I was recording the next 3 episodes of Luigi's Mansion, and they were all going well and good, and by the time I started to edit episode 13, I realized there was a problem. Somehow, it seems like OBS had an issue, or maybe I messed up something. So, what I normally do is, when I record my Let's Play episodes, I record with 2 audio tracks. One track will be the game audio, and the other one will be my audio commentary, and those are 2 separate tracks, so that I could sort of edit the volume and just sort of keep them separate so that you can hear me clearly, but you can still hear the game a little. For some reason, I think something happened with OBS, and the audio track, my commentary track, recorded the game audio with it as well, and my voice is completely drowned out by the game audio, and there is really no way for me to fix it. And I did make progress in the game, so I kind of screwed myself over that way. So what I've decided to do is I've taken the 3 recordings that I've done, and I've just sort of cut them up to the, I guess, highlights of what happened. Hopefully I'll have this problem fixed so that by the time I do record what's going to be episode 14, I won't have to do this again, but just sort of bear with me here and just, feel free to watch along as I tell you how my experience with Luigi's Mansion has been so far after beating Boolossus. So basically, the episode started off with me sort of backtracking a little and watering some plants. Reason is, you guys in the comments told me that the plants in this game can be watered by using the water element. So I decided to just go back and water some of them, because by doing so, you do get money from that. And so I just did that for a little bit, just watered some of the plants in some of the previous areas. Like you can see me here in the courtyard, me running around, and obviously what I'm gonna do here is just water the plants. So here I am, just watering the plants around the fountain, just trying to get all the money, because like I mentioned before, the how much money you have at the end of the game sort of affects the ending, so you want to have as much money as you can to really get the best ending. And then I returned to the safari room because I remembered that I had forgotten a Boo before I went to fight Boolossus, and I had to go back to the balcony again to proceed on to Area 4. And of course, this guy is hard to capture because a lot of the Boos, especially later on in the game, they have higher health, and they seem to be a lot more evasive than the ones in the earlier areas. It's probably not helped that in dark rooms like this hallway right here, they don't lose their health as fast as they normally do in the light rooms. So yeah, I'm kind of struggling here, but eventually I get this guy, and of course Luigi's all happy. He gets a message from EGAD, and you can always save your game whenever you capture a Boo, so there's that. Then proceed onward to the balcony. I did water some plants for a little bit, got some money, got some gems. Then I went to the door leading to Area 4 and let that sort of unlock itself. And then of course at this point of the game, lightning will strike the mansion, and what will happen is the power will go out, which means every room will be dark. And see Luigi cowering in fear there, and then EGAD's gonna show up, and what he's gonna do is he's gonna tell us that now that the power's gone out, all of the ghosts are gonna come back. After that, I sort of proceeded on to Area 4. This time I head to the telephone room, which is coming up, and now that the mansion is totally dark, the ghosts are back in full force. They're even more ferocious than before. It's at this point where you hear a telephone ringing, and you go up to one, and it's going to be Toad on the other end of the line. And what Toad is going to do here is he's basically going to tell you that all the lights in the mansion have gone out, and that there might be a way to turn the lights back on by going to the basement and turning on the generator there. So then another phone is gonna ring, and on the other end is gonna be EGAD. Instead of contacting you on the Game Boy Horror like he usually did, he called you on the phone. But what he's trying to tell you is, not only are the ghosts back in the mansion, you know, causing trouble, but there's gonna be a portrait ghost that sort of escaped from the gallery, and his name is Uncle Grimly, and what Luigi has to do is go hunt him down, and the only clue EGAD gives to his whereabouts is that he's in a room with a mirror. And then after the call with EGAD, you get attacked by ghosts, and it's honestly a little more difficult than the other encounters, because now that the mansion's completely dark, the ghosts just completely swarm you, and honestly it's a little bit of a pain in the ass trying to fight them all. Since the clue EGAD gives you is that Uncle Grimly is in a room with a mirror, there's only really one room that came to my mind where he could be, and that is the mirror room right next to the room where Madame Clairvoyant was in. So I just decided to make my way over there. So eventually I make it to the mirror room, and of course it has these ghosts that can only be seen in the mirror, on that big wall in the room. And of course they are even more vicious than before. They're always grabbing you and basically interrupting you trying to capture the ghosts. But with my health depleted, I decided it would be best to sort of retreat and regroup, possibly head back to Chauncey's room to grab that big heart. So I just sort of left there. And, well, so I managed to make my way back to the foyer, back to Area 1, and of course, this hallway is full of ghosts. And I trip my foot on a ghost mouse, and I die here. Now, that would have been the end of episode 13, and this next recording here, I just basically began retracing my steps. Because I died before I had the chance to save last time, I did basically have to do everything over again, which was really disappointing, but, you know, there's only one way forward, so I just went ahead and did it anyway. So I talked to Toad and EGAD on the phones again, and I fight these ghosts again, and it's at this fight that I remembered that you can actually use your elements to sort of deplete the ghost's health. You don't actually have to suck up these ghosts, but you can sort of use the elements to deplete their health, and if their health reaches 0, you can still defeat them that way. After looking online, I found out that where Uncle Grimly really is, he's in the wardrobe room, which is in Area 1, so sort of have to make my way to the parlor. As you can see, I'm just being harassed by these orange ghosts, because they just absolutely swarm you at this point of the game, and really all you can do is run, because trying to fight them is really more trouble than it's worth. But yeah, trying to get to this wardrobe room is complete pain. And Uncle Grimly is there, and he just basically stands there, and he's gonna say something like, "Nobody will find me because I'm old, cranky, and by gum, people are afraid of me." So basically what he does is he just sort of stands there. You know, I'm just sort of looking around, trying to figure out how to get this guy to be capturable. But all you really got to do is turn off your light, face away from him, then turn around when his heart is exposed, and you can capture him that way. So he's actually not too hard to try to capture. It's just, you really got him, you know, get him when his heart appears. Just sort of be fast like that. Eventually, I was able to successfully drain Uncle Grimly's health and manage to capture him. Then a key will appear, and that's basically going to lead to a room in the basement so that we can finally turn the power back onto the mansion. So I do make my way back to the basement. I open this locked door. You can see Luigi turning that key, slowly trying to open that door handle, his hand trembling. It's a funny scene. But anyway, yeah, you just sort of unlock that door, and then you could finally go down and flip that switch. I guess I kind of get distracted by the ghost mouse there. But anyway, flip the switch, and Finally, all of the previously lit areas are lit again. And there's a key in there that's gonna lead to a... It's gonna unlock a door that's across the hall, right over there. And then there's gonna be a boo hiding in these barrels, so just basically pull out the vacuum and get that boo out. And he's got 200 HP. And, yep, he's kind of hard to capture. And then you get to this little storage room area where there's a bunch of crap on the ground that you have to vacuum up. And then after a while, ghosts will appear, and of course, you're supposed to clear out the ghosts from this room in order to light it up. And as with every room, a key appears, and of course you have to pick up the key so you can find out where to go next. And then, as with every lit up room, there's gonna be a boo in here, and even though he's only got 100 HP, which is pretty standard, he's still pretty slippery, and he makes his way out of here. Eventually, I just sort of give up on the boos and go back to the telephone room and unlock the locked door that I have the key for. And I find these 3 clockwork soldiers, and I don't know what to do here, so I just investigate a little. Eventually, I just start messing around the room, and I find that there's a bunch of stuff on the shelves, a bunch of clocks that you can interact with, and I figure, okay, that must be how you get the soldiers to trigger, and indeed, that's what you have to do. So now I run around a bit trying to figure out how I can catch these guys, and they've got pop guns that of course do damage, so I'm trying to run away and still trying to think of how the heck I can get these guys. So I'm just sort of running around, trying not to get shot. I do get shot a couple of times, but eventually I realized you could turn their keys by vacuuming, so that gets a noggin jogging, and sure enough, you suck up the key, and that's how you try to capture one of these ghosts. Of course, his buddies will try to shoot you while you try to do this, and, well, yeah, it's kind of difficult with all 3 of these guys running around. But with enough perseverance, I start to figure them out and start to capture them one by one. So I caught the green one earlier, then I caught the pink one just now, and then the blue one I got left. So, like I said before, the secret is try to suck up their key, and then that makes them catchable. So it gets a little bit easier when they're isolated. It's like when it's just this one guy left, he's not as hard because you don't have his buddies trying to shoot you. So eventually I catch this guy, and after catching the last soldier ghost, the middle door opens, and inside is like a little elevator, and I sort of pass on the boo for now. The elevator takes you to the roof of the mansion where you can find a whole bunch of ghosts there, including these Shy Guy ghosts, and to beat them, obviously, you just suck up their masks with the vacuum and shine your light on them. It's the same as before, like in the dancing room from earlier in the game, so it's not too bad trying to fight these guys. After the Shy Guys are these white ghosts with ice hearts, and you sort of use the fire in the center to get a fire spirit so you can use fire on them. And then after beating them, a treasure chest appears on the chimney, and that's where you get the next key. So I climbed the ladder to the chimney, open up the treasure chest, and grab the key. And the key will lead to a door on the 3rd floor, and that's going to be where the armory is. Eventually, I head back to where the toy soldiers were and find the boo, and he's got a whopping 300 HP, which means he is very, very, very hard to catch, and boos are just extremely strong this late in the game, and since he likes to hide in dark rooms now that he's escaped from that light room, he's just pretty much near impossible to catch. But that didn't stop me from trying to catch this guy, but, you know, I do eventually give up. So I head to the armory on the 3rd floor, and after looking around a bit, you know, I suck up this cloth that's covering the mirror because, like I said, the mirrors are shortcuts to the foyer, but there's a bunch of treasure chests and suits of armor in this room that Luigi needs to interact with, and that will make the ghosts appear that Luigi needs to capture, like this pink one that came out of the treasure chest. So yeah, it's basically like just interact with basically everything in this room. All the suits of armor, all the treasure chests, and there's money in a bunch of them, so of course, you know, you have to get that, because again, the more money you have by the end of the game, the better the ending is. And of course, after lighting up the armory, there's a boo hiding in there, and of course this little sucker's evasive as hell. So eventually he runs into this new room, the ceramics studio, and because it is a dark room, you know, his health doesn't go down as fast. There's also ghosts hiding in there. Then after messing around in the ceramics studio a bit, you see this red ghost head pop out of one of the pots. Then he challenges you to a game, and in this game he basically wants you to freeze his head that pops out of the various vases with the ice blast, and he wants you to do it 7 times so that you can win the game. Now, playing his little mini game is actually pretty easy. Just, his head will pop out, it'll stay a few seconds, and you freeze him, and then you see his head freeze and shatter. And that's basically all you gotta do, and of course I win, and it's not a very hard game to play, and of course he's a sore loser, so eventually, like the twins before him, this leads into a boss fight. This fight is actually pretty simple. Basically what'll happen is, he'll pop his head out of the pots, and all you gotta do is shine your flashlight on him and suck him up. Also, he does sound like pots to hit you with, but of course you can suck them up with the vacuum. It's pretty easy stuff. No, it's not hard at all. It's one of the more simpler fights in the game. Of course, there's a treasure. I head back to the clockwork room and try to fight that boo again, and you know, I have his health whittled down pretty good, and you know, I still have to chase him back and forth between rooms, which is something that becomes more common this late in the game. The boos are definitely a lot more evasive, they have more health, and it's just not as straightforward as it used to be in the beginning. But, of course, I'm just up for the challenge. I just try to suck up this boo. Of course, he does damage you. If you touch the boos, they damage you, so you do want to be careful with that. I am pretty low on health, but I'm feeling pretty ballsy, I guess, so I just proceed onward back to the clockwork room where he's hiding. Fortunately, this room is light, so his health should go down a lot faster. And whittle it down. He's trying to avoid me, but eventually I do catch him, which feels pretty satisfying because a lot of these boos keep running from me, and it felt really good to finally catch one after a long time. Of course, EGAD tells me about watering the plants, which I already knew about thanks to you guys. I save my game because I got the boo, and then I move on. Eventually I head back down to the basement where I go into the pipe room, and there's a bunch of ghosts here. It's like this big waterfall, and you have these annoying red ghosts, and because there is like such limited space, it's very easy for these ghosts to just grab a hold of you. And it gets really bad, especially when there's a lot of them and you haven't had a chance to catch them, and then one will just come from behind and grab you and interrupt you. But eventually I do defeat them all, and then I just run around not knowing what to do for a little bit. Eventually I find the boo hiding in this room, and he's got 300 health, and of course there's very limited room for mobility in this particular room. Then he escapes to this dark hallway, and of course he just becomes a lot more difficult to try to catch. I think he gets away. Yeah, he does. Yeah. I did get a little lost, so I decided to backtrack to the generator room so I could fight this boo again, and he returns to the room. He has his health still lost from our previous encounter. Of course, he's still slippery as hell. Now I have to backtrack through the cellar, and, well, there's a bunch of crap on the ground in the cellar that always respawns every time you go back in it, which is pretty annoying, but the only way to get from point A to point B is really to suck up all this crap with the vacuum. Then I go for this heart because I am low on health and I don't want to get a game over. So yeah, I grab that heart, I grab all this dirt, suck it up in the vacuum, and then I proceed through this door, and there's the boo that I was hunting, and of course he runs away again, because of course he does. So I just walk back to that room, the pipe room, and there he is. He won't stop running, and it's pretty annoying. I don't think I catch him. I think he runs away. Oh, yeah, he did. So I just proceed on to this pipe room, then I realize you're supposed to freeze that weird green slime so you can walk over to the valve, then you turn it, and that's going to turn off the waterfall, because the waterfall is covering the treasure chest where the next key is, and of course we need that key so we can move on. So I just saunter on over there and open the chest, grab the key, do my victory dance, and find out where I need to go next. The key goes to a door that's down this little hallway, and it's gonna take me to the cold storage room, because this mansion has a cold storage room. So I notice there's a heat lamp, so I grab the fire ghost, and I go over to these campfires. I blanked on their name, but yeah, I just go to these campfires, and I figure, well, you need fire to light them up. Then you see this frozen ghost over here, just hiding in the cold storage with a winter coat, complaining about how I made it hot. And of course, this leads to another boss fight, and one that's honestly kind of bullshit, because it's just weirdly difficult, because he will shoot ice blasts at you, all the meanwhile you're avoiding these icicles dropping on your head, and you're on a slippery, icy floor. And of course, to beat this guy, you just sort of have to unfreeze his icy tomb with the fire, and then his heart will appear, shine the light on it, and then you can catch him. So I just sort of have to walk around, grab the coins I dropped, avoiding these icicles, avoiding his ice blasts, and try and catch the sucker, which, you know, if these squirrely ghosts weren't hard to catch before, imagine doing it on a slippery floor. It's difficult. It's pretty hard, not gonna lie. But of course, the only way through is forward, so I just keep doing it. But of course, with a little perseverance, I managed to catch that slippery sucker. And of course, I only have 2 HP left. Luigi's on the verge of dying. And I'm stressing out because if I get a game over here, I have to do that shit all over again. And I got the key, and Luigi slid out of frame because he is on a slippery floor. Then I find out where I need to go next, but it's at this point that I decided to call an end to this particular recording, and, you know, basically all the recordings for the night. I do head back to the generator room first to try to catch one of the boos that had run away from me. And of course, he's very slippery, very hard to catch, and eventually I said, you know what, I really shouldn't be chancing it. I only have 12 HP right now in this moment, so I really, really, really need to go to Chauncey's room, grab that big heart that always spawns from one of the cabinets, and basically just call the episode. Because at this point, I had recorded 3 episodes, and like I said before, the audio for these 3 episodes just got all messed up. So that's kind of why I had to basically make a clip show of all 3 recordings and do this little highlight montage of my experience playing the game, which is pretty unfortunate that I had to do this, but it's what I ultimately decided to do, so you guys know where I'm at. So I save my game. Of course, I just do my thing, save, I pause, and that's basically where that recording session ended, and that's basically where this little clip show is going to end. So now you know where I'm at. I beat the cold storage ghost, and hopefully when I record next, I won't have to do this again. I think I did solve the problem. I think there was a problem when I was connecting the Elgato. It was supposed to record to just one audio track, but instead it recorded to all of them. So that's why it ended up, you know, recording over my audio commentary as well as making its own audio track. And, you know, it really sucks that I had to do this. I mean, this was 3 episodes that were ruined, but I hope this was still an acceptable, you know, video, so you guys at least know where I'm at. So when I do make the next video, you'll know exactly what I have done previously and where I'm going to go from here. Now, as of the recording of this particular audio track commentary thing, I sort of had to take a day off from uploading Luigi's Mansion, any new episodes. And I really hate to do that because I know you guys really seem to enjoy these episodes. They do really well on the channel, which really surprises me, but at the same time, everybody loves Luigi, so I guess thinking of that, that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, October is almost over, and I know originally I had said I was only going to play till the end of the month, but since I am near the end of the game, I will be playing this game till the end, and I know it'll be early November when this series will end, but don't worry, you're going to see the entire playthrough, and I am determined to make sure I play it through the end. Hopefully I don't have to make any more of these clip shows, hopefully these videos will turn out normal when I'm done, but, you know, if I do end up making clip shows, I guess that's just how it's gonna have to be, but fingers crossed that doesn't happen. But this is the end of this video, so do me a solid like, comment, subscribe, click the bell, share the video around. Really will help me out a lot, and next time it'll be, you know, normal Luigi's Mansion content, no more clip shows hopefully, and yeah, that's it. I'm JT Gunner, and this is Luigi's Mansion, and I will see you with a proper Let's Play episode next time, so I'll see you later.